Hi, welcome. I'm so glad to see you here. I'm super excited to participate in this amazing event to help elevate our mindset and to do the things we say we want to do in the world. My name is Stephanie Zito. I am an intuitive passions to profits coach. And what that means is I use my intuitive abilities to talk with your guides, to have kind of a download with your guides to help guide you on your path for your soul's mission, for your purpose, for your passion. We're meant to have it. So I help gain some clarity and kind of get us quicker from point A to point Z. So today we're going to be talking about fear. And everyone I've talked to, no matter what level they're at in entrepreneurship, at some point faces some kind of fear. Maybe you have too. Maybe you are right now. And to me, this is one of the main things that when we can take that fear and make it our fuel, and I have just a great way to kind of help us through that, then we kind of rise up. Then we see where we were, we see where we've gotten to, and it kind of paves the way for us to gain momentum and to do even more. So if you've experienced that, that's fantastic. And if you're in a place where you're feeling it, then this is definitely going to be a talk that's going to help move you forward. So my mission is really to help you. It's to help you to make the money you want doing what you love. I truly believe that you have a place here, you have a purpose. Like, this is like what I've been born to do, is to help people to figure that out and to do it. And it's my greatest joy. Your challenges are like, they're your soul studies. They're what your soul is here to learn. So if you have karmic things, if you have people in your life, if you have situations that are challenges, we can look at those with curiosity and allow them to be our study. And that they're kind of here to help you up level. My commitment is to support you in being courageous, to act in alignment with what you know you are capable of. You know it. I know you know it's in there. So together, by growing more aligned, we're clearer, we're stronger, and we have less inner conflict. Sometimes we can get in these places where we're mulling over a decision, whether to invest with someone or, how to pivot in our business, and we get really caught up in that monkey mind. And when we know ourselves better, we have more ease. So I'm going to tell you a little personal story about myself, and hopefully that'll help kind of paint a picture of why this kind of talk is just so important to me. So my greatest fear wasn't, this is something that happened to me when I was young, when I was in the Peace Corps. I was a Peace Corps volunteer back in my early 20s, like 21 years old, right out of college. And the very first thing that happened to me when I arrived in the country where I was stationed was to be held at gunpoint. And that was not the scariest thing that ever happened in my life. That for me was like a random occurrence. I went on to have an amazing experience in the Peace Corps. The scariest thing for me was literally stepping into my gifts, stepping into my gifts as a coach and as an intuitive. It was the being seen. It was the being really true to who I am, like 100% bringing it into the world. I'm also a yoga teacher, and I had taken jobs before that were sort of kind of there. And yet I was kind of just like, not quite 100%, just boom. Like, this is who I am. This is what I do. And I kind of had the opportunity karmically to step into this about, let's see now, my daughter's 9, so it probably was like about 6 years ago or so when my husband had lost his job, and I just knew that was the moment to boom, like, it's now or never, like, let's do this. And when you get super clear, or maybe you've had this happen to yourself, things kind of line up, like the people come into your life who are meant to be there. There's synchronistic things, and we can take that opportunity. This is the intuitive piece. When we see that synchronicity, when we see that sign, we can take it or we can let it pass us by. We have that choice. It's 100% given to us. It's part of our free will, whether we like jump on board with that or we just let it pass by. So in my case, I jumped on board and I synchronistically met a coach who was just perfect for me at the time to help me understand how to market what I do. That's kind of my cluelessness was like, well, how do people know what I do? So I found that right mentor. I invested in myself. It was 100% the best thing I could have done for myself. And I took that leap. And that's where I felt scared. I felt scared to put myself out there, like 100% in that honest way of like, this is who I am. This is what I do. And yeah, I mean, we really were in a low point. One might have said like, well, why would you do that then? Why not get like a steady job? And sometimes like that's the magic. It's those magic moments where we make those choices that seem risky, where we could be in fear, and yet we choose like moving in the direction of our best lives instead of letting fear hold us back or hold us in the past or hold us in what could have been. Because we know that fear, it's there to keep us safe. I mean, this we know. Fear comes from something like deep in our ancestry. That said, you just stay the course, do your safe things, and you'll stay in the tribe. If you kind of just do your thing, don't color outside the lines, you'll stay in your tribe. And I think that one of the biggest fears that I've seen as I do a lot of talks around this in a variety of ways and formats, and I talk to people and people come to me for coaching, and I just see time and time again, fear. It's common to everyone I've ever talked to, even people who are making 5 figures a month, even those who are making 6 figures a month, they still feel fear. What happens is that when we up level, excuse me, I got a little thing there. When we up level, it becomes like, okay, well, it's like an incident game or in a video game. Okay, now you're at the next level. So it's a different level of fear. It's around something different. And we get to embrace and we get to play with that. So when it's time to up level, we feel there's these new opportunities, and we can actually feel how great it can feel to move to the other side of fear. Fear, it can show up like a shadow. It can show up like our shadow self, and it may not even present itself as fear. It might present itself as an excuse. It might present itself as, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, people won't get me. That was my belief. People won't get me, they won't understand what I do. So, I've noticed that these things, they're just beliefs. They're not necessarily true. They're just somehow we've developed this belief, this way to keep ourselves safe, this way to stay in the tribe, to not rock the boat and have the rocky waters. And they're not necessarily true. So you can take a moment and just see if that's coming up in your life in some way. If you're procrastinating, if you've got excuses, if you've had an opportunity to invest in yourself and you've been on the fence. So it's important when we kind of register and we get that clarity, that's what it is. And we realize, okay, what's underneath that? It's actually fear. It's trying to keep me safe. And if I stand for my highest self, if I stand for my best interest, I can make that choice. Fear does not have to dictate that choice in that way. So now I wake up super excited to work with my clients to help them release their blocks, to get super clear, to get their blueprint. As I've moved through my coaching, my intuition has developed even more, and I just adore that part of it. I adore that part of helping to get crystal clear with my clients on what it is that's blocking them, to see it. It's like an aha moment. And then to get the tools to move forward on their path, because we all have some similarities and we each have this unique path. So I really feel like it's important to get that download that is specific from your guides to help you moving forward. All right, so as an intuitive coach, what I do is I help to identify your energetic blocks and to get that guidance from your guides and help you find the actions to grow your business with confidence and with ease. And I've seen it every time we do it, it works. It works. So here are some of the tools we're going to use to move through fear, to make the fear our fuel. The first step is we're going to get conscious. We're going to look at, what is the thing you want to do? What is that one thing? What is the thing you really want to do? What do you want to do? Even if it sounds crazy, even if it sounds insane. So a little tidbit around this is before I had kids, before I met my husband, I was working as a rock climbing guide and as an outdoor guide. So everything outdoors I did. And what's so interesting about this is when I was younger and I kind of knew I wanted to do this, I had gone home, I was talking with my mom, I was visiting, and she kind of asked me what I really wanted to do. And I was like, I just want to rock climb all the time. And that might sound like, oh, well, you can do that on the weekends, girl. You can do that in the evenings. Like, that's not going to be your full-time job. And she said to me, she said, you know, I feel like you're drifting. And when I look back at that conversation, I wasn't angry. I wasn't upset. I didn't feel that she was disappointed. Maybe she was, but I didn't really feel that. What I felt was curiosity. I was like, ooh, this is what I really want to do. And when I got clear, when I got that clarity, this is manifesting. That is exactly what I did. That is exactly what I moved into, where I had abundant money. I had abundant time to go and play in my rock climbing world and travel and see beautiful places and make it happen. And it comes from just really getting clear. So one thing I want to say about this is that thing you say to yourself that you know in your heart is the thing that you really, really want to do. If you have someone say to you, well, that's impossible, or how can you do that? Or you need more money, or you don't have enough of this, or you can't this, that. We can just take those voices, we can hear them, and we can say, okay, thank you for that feedback, because that belongs to that person. That does not belong to you. So getting clear, getting conscious means that we separate out what we believe the world will think about us. We separate out what some of our family members might think, or maybe even your spouse or your significant other or your partner. They may not get it either, and that is okay. They don't have the same information you have. They don't have that same spark that you have. It's all right if they don't get it. That's all part of the fear sometimes, is the fear of not being seen, not being understood, not being supported. And that support, what I've learned is that it truly, truly has to come from the inside. Because if we're always looking for validation from others that we're on the right track, then we're never fully embracing what we truly know. And what I love doing is helping my clients to gather that intuition for themselves. So at some point, you don't even need me because you got it. I mean, I love coaching. I believe that every good coach has a coach. I believe that this is why Olympic athletes do so well, is because they get coached. So I'm clearly on board with that. And we want to get to a place where we have an opinion. Like, our opinion is what matters. We're going to do what our opinion is saying. That's what's driving us. Not even our opinion, but it's like the spark. It comes from inside. So when you think about what it is you really want to do, like for me, it was, I want to coach and I'm going to do it in my way. I want to bring in my chakra work, the breath work, that stuff that activates us, that activates our money codes, that activates our passion, that activates our action. I know these things work. I want to bring them in. That was me. That was me when I was getting clear on what I truly wanted to do. And the next thing is to ask yourself, what's your fear around that? If you went ahead and did the thing you truly want to do, if you can get clear on that, or a little spark, even if it's just like how you want to let your life to look. It could be that you want your life to look like you make the rules on your time. You work on your own time frame. You're not working for someone else. You're not dictated by dollars for hours. You're making residual income. You don't have to be 100% clear on what that looks like right now. That probably is kind of buried within you somewhere. There's probably some kind of layer of fear to chip away to really see it. That's okay. It's just feeling that feel like what it is that you want your life to look like. Even if you don't have the specifics, that's all right. I know we're in a lot of transition right now. So a lot of people are kind of reinventing how we work, how we do things, and what it is we really want to do. So look at what your fear is. Are you afraid you'll fail? Are you afraid you'll invest a lot of money and you won't make it back? Are you afraid of what your friends will think? Are you afraid that You're going to lose everything. Are you afraid you're going to lose your significant other? So whatever those fears are, if you have a notebook, go ahead and write that down. If you don't, it's okay, but register that thought. It does really help to write the stuff down because it's a part of the activation. It's part of the activation is to see it, to speak it, to look at it. Now, I want you to take a look at, and this is the somatic piece where our bodies have a lot of wisdom. This is beginning to tap into our intuition, is to look at, getting conscious at where do you feel that fear? When you register fear, where do you feel that in your body? Super important piece of this. Take a moment to notice that. I know for some of us, it's our jaw, or it could be a couple places. It could be the shoulders, it could be the belly. A lot of times it's the belly. It's where we can really hold that fear. So take notice where you feel it, where it's lodged, and ask yourself this. So I think there is this feeling about positive psychology and manifesting that we can't look at the negative. And yet, if we don't look at the shadow side, it will still be there and it can sabotage our success. When we don't look at the fear, it can sabotage our success. When we see it, when we uncover it, we have this feminine way to approach it. So we're not dominating it. We're not trying to overpower it. There's a different way to do this. So ask yourself, what is your worst case scenario? Like if everything went wrong, what would happen? Would you get a troll on your YouTube channel? Would someone make a negative comment on something that you post? Would you not get the likes and the follows on the Instagram and the Facebook? Would you lose money? Would you lose pride or ego? What is your worst case scenario? If you did achieve your goal, if you did achieve your goal, if you did achieve that vision of what you see for yourself. And now ask yourself, what would be your worst case scenario if you did not achieve your goal? If you did not achieve it, what's your worst case scenario? Would it stick with you? Would it haunt you? Would you be disappointed? Would you always be looking at what could have been? What would that look like? Would you be missing out on what you could have? Listen to where you feel it. And ask yourself, with that first fear, if you did not achieve that goal, what is your fear trying to protect? How is your fear trying to keep you safe? And when we do this, we are tapping into what I like to call the divine feminine. So if we have like this unconscious masculine approach, not that it's being a man, but it's a more masculine way of being, we're going to look at this fear and be like, I got to crush that fear. I got to just stomp it down. When we take the feminine approach, what we look at is how we can hold that fear. Imagine that fear is like this little child self, like your little child self. And imagine that you can talk to this little child self and say, I see you. What are you trying to tell me? How are you trying to protect me? What do you need? And let this be your defining moment to stand for your highest self. Let it be your defining moment. This is where you get to stand for your why. Why is it important for you to do the thing you say you want to do? Why does that matter? Is it for your happiness? Is it for your health? Is it for your financial freedom? What is your why? Why does it matter? This is the question that just tops all of them. Getting this down, having it in front of you, having it visible. So when you kind of start to, you make a big move and then you walk back into that fear, you're like, nope, that's my why. That's why I'm right here doing this. That's why I'm not procrastinating. That's why I'm not turning on Netflix. That's why I'm not going to grab another snack. This is the why right here. It's why I'm going to get clear. It's why I'm going to take action. It's why I'm going to do something that feels uncomfortable because I know it's a step towards what I truly want. And now ask yourself, this is the transition. This is the loving transition, that feminine transition that holds your fear with love and compassion is to ask yourself, what do you need to believe to feel safe, to do the thing you say it is you want to do? What do you need to believe to feel safe? And when you answer that, that tells you it's liberating. Like, I need to believe that I won't fail. I need to believe that even if people do laugh at me, like, that's okay. I need to believe that the exact people I am meant to reach are out there, and they love my message and they want my message. To feel safe, to see that fear and to feel safe, I need to believe that I can do this. I need to believe in myself. This is where we get to give ourselves 110%. This is where we get to be like the inner loving parent. Like, I love the example. I have two kids. They're 6 years old and 9 years old. And as they learn to ride their bikes, my daughter rides hers now. As a parent, I'm not looking at her riding her bike and saying, oh, you're never going to do this. Oh, this is really hard. Oh, some people, they never learn to ride their bikes. We would never do that, right? I mean, maybe there are some parents out there the way, but I'm talking about like conscious parenting. And hopefully you got that. And if you didn't, you can give it to yourself. Just like that little child. We know, because we've been there. We're like, oh, you got this. You can do it. Let's take away the fear little by little. Training wheels go off. Hold the back of the bike. That goes off. Boom, you got it. You're on your own. And then there they go. They get their balance, they get their footing, and they're off. And I love that analogy because it's very similar to what we're talking about here. What do you need to believe to feel safe? If you were that kid on that bike going towards your goal, your highest self, source, your guides, they would look at you and be like, yeah, girl, yeah, guy, you got this. I see you doing this. I'm just waiting for you to get there. I've got all the patience. I've got all the support for you. So we tap into that space where we are supported, and we can be our own inner loving parent supporting us in that way. Like our best cheerleader, just telling ourselves what it is we need to believe to feel safe, to do the thing it is we say we want to do out in the world. And guess what? I talk to so many people who have these amazing things, these amazing gifts, and yet they are afraid. And if that is you, then the world is missing out. You have gifts for a reason. The world is just, they're waiting for you, for these people that you're going to help solve their pain, their issues, to provide them a source of something that takes them from the place they're in right now to the place they want to be. If it's in there for you, it's there for a reason. And it's really liberating. And I'll tell you, it's liberating to even, and this happened to me on my Facebook page with some random person who, I don't know, she gave me like a 0-star review for not really knowing me. And when I got that, I kind of had to laugh. It's like when I talk to someone who has gotten like their first troll, it's like, okay, like now I'm visible enough that people I don't know, my friends and family that'll give me all the 5 stars in the world, like I'm growing beyond that. And that's good. That's what I want. I want to grow beyond that. I want to be more visible. So we take that belief, we take that clarity, and we let that be our fuel. We let that be your fuel. You let your why be your fuel. You let your fear be your fuel, because when you feel that fear, you know you're in the right place. You know you're doing something important enough that it's going to push you, it's going to grow you to your next level. So you can stand and help guide those people who are walking in your path behind you too. So what we do is we take this and we anchor this in. We anchor this into the body, anchor this into our psyche, and we write down what your highest self would tell you. Like, let this be your inner loving parent holding the space for you. Let your guides hold the space for you to believe in yourself. What would your guide tell you? When you look at the thing you want to do, and you look at that belief that you need to feel safe, what is it that your highest self would tell you? for you to go for it, for you to go for that thing, for you to go for that dream, for you to go for that next step. And when you have that, when you have that message, you write it down, you write down your name, and you write it down very clearly. Stephanie, like for me, I would write down Stephanie is, and I would give myself those words that my guide would tell me. Stephanie is confident. Stephanie is a guide. Stephanie is helpful. Whatever those things are that your best self, your inner loving parent would say to you to cheer you on, you write that down. And that is what you come back to every time. So this is the practice. The fear comes up, you go to procrastinate, you go to veer off or do this or spend some time on that or look up another course you could take or whatever it is. That's your MO when you feel fear, or you don't invest, or you invest in a lesser price program. Just play it easy. And you take those things you might be saying to yourself that are not true, those things that are not what your highest self would say, those things that you say that are fear-based, those things that say like, oh, Stephanie, you can't do this. You take those and boom. It's like the rubber band exercise. You can even like have like a bracelet on your wrist or just give yourself a little tap. See what that might be right now. Like a little something you would do. Holding your heart, holding your wrist and like, nope, I'm going to veer back to what I know is true. I'm going to hold the space for my highest self to come through. I'm going to say to myself, Stephanie is, and replace that fear, replace that negative thought, that negative word with what you know to be true. That your highest self holds for you, that your highest self wants for you, that you are guided towards for a reason. And you replace it with that. You create and then you act. And here is where, this is our third step. We're going to act by embodying, having a commitment to ourselves. This is where you make a commitment to yourself. You know your why. You have a feel for what wants to come through, a feel for how you want your life to look or what it is you really want next, as crazy as it might sound, and you make a commitment to yourself. This is where you say, you write down, I am a commitment to, and it's a big picture thing. Like I am a commitment to my happiness. I am a commitment to standing for myself. I am a commitment to standing for my truth. Whatever that is, we say it like I am a commitment to. It's not I'm making a commitment to or I'll be a commitment to. No, I am. Because when you are that commitment, then every action funnels right back into that commitment to yourself. I am a commitment to my abundance. I am a commitment to my success. And so the choices that you make are going to funnel into that. And you will know if you're making a choice that does not align with that commitment. We take aligned action. That's where we take that fear. We're like, oh, I must be in the right place. This is exactly where I'm meant to be. This is pushing my edge. This is where I want to be next. All right, I got to take that next step. I got to put my feet on the pedals. Guides, you got me? Okay, what am I going to say to myself? Stephanie is brilliant. Stephanie's got this. You say that stuff to yourself because it works. Because it works. You create and then you act. You say that commitment to yourself. And from that, you take one step forward. What is one thing you can do that supports that commitment to yourself? And this one, it may not relate directly to your business right now in this moment, and that's perfectly fine. And I'll tell you why that matters. We have to set the baseline for our success. We have to set the morning rituals that work for us to have success. It might mean that you are taking an hour at night. You're just telling your family, look, I need this time at night. I'm going to be working on my business. You declare it. You own it. It might be, I gotta clear out some space so I've got room to work. It's too cluttered. I gotta start there. You gotta set the baseline. It might be, my mind is really scattered. I need to start meditating. meditating is going to help get me that clarity. That's not procrastination. That is setting the stage. So this is where you start. You start with this action. You start with a step forward. And when you've got that down, then you stack it. Then you add your next step forward. And many times it helps. It helps to have support. It helps to have support people around you. So identify who are those people who can support you. It can be a mentor. It can be someone who is on the same path with you. It can be a friend. It can be a loved one. I love having mentors. Like, to me, they always help me to just accelerate my path, to not get stuck, to not get bogged down, to not forget my why. They help me get where I'm going faster. So I make my investments back. If we don't take action, we know we stay. If we don't take action, we stay exactly where we are in this moment. So we have a pathway through. We get clear, we get anchored, and we act. We take those actions. And those actions can be very specific. If you say you're going to meditate, you write down when that's going to be and how long it's going to be. The more specific we are, the more we actually like make these dates for ourselves, just like we do when we set up to meet with a friend, or if it's a Zoom call with a friend, or if it is meeting with someone in person, or whoever that is, like, we show up. I mean, when I've got my clients, I show up for them. It's on my calendar. So I want to show up for myself just as much as I show up for someone else. We value ourselves enough to do that. All right, so this is kind of wrapping up this session on making fear our fuel. Remember that fear means that you are in the right place, you are doing the right thing, and you can take bold moves to make these dreams, make these things, these passions, your reality. It's all there for you. It's taking that belief and translating it into decisive action. So I'm always here for you to help support you in turning your passions into profits. I know there are some links for you to connect with me, to find me on social media. I have a free offer for you as well, so you can find all that in here. I hope you're enjoying this program and that we can connect soon. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye.